Okay, great. I think we can start now. So firstly, a very good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, a warm welcome to Milind. We all know him. We know him as a fitness and a health freak, and we're delighted to have him with us here today. So warm welcome to Milind. I'd also like to welcome our MD and CEO, Mr. Sanjeev Chadha, our Executive Director, Shri Joydeep Datta Roy, Shri Lalit Tyagi, and our Chief Vigilance Officer, Shri Surendra Kumar Dixit, all our CGMs and senior leadership team, and my fellow Barodians. And also a very warm welcome to our media friends who are here with us today. And they've joined us here to promote this quite unique initiative to raise awareness on air pollution and the ways to combat it. Again, a good morning. So air pollution, as we all know, is a serious issue. It's a serious issue in India and around the world. Most recently, we've seen that two of our biggest and most prominent cities, Mumbai and Delhi, have had to face very poor air quality, very high air quality index. And as we also know that air pollution has a number of adverse effects, most of all on our health. So to breathe clean, pure air, we have to go green. We have no choice. Today, we are gathered here today for the launch of the second edition, but the launch of a very unique initiative, an initiative which seeks to bring about change and is sure to inspire all of us. The second edition of the Green Ride, where Milind Soman, the environment advocate and fitness enthusiast, will undertake a 1,400-kilometer journey on a bicycle. And he starts from Mumbai on Monday. And Bank of Baroda is proud to be associated and supporting this initiative. To begin proceedings, I would request Mr. Sanjeev Chadha and Milind to please come up on stage. Thank you. Thank you, sirs. Mr. Chadha, if I may request you to please give a few opening remarks and address the audience.
Thank you very much. I have the mic. I think it works. So very good morning to all of you. And let me just begin by saying that how all of us on Bank of Baroda are so delighted to have Milind with us again. It was about the same time last year when we had the first version of the Green Ride 1.0, when Milind had cycled from here up to Delhi. And it was something which was so inspiring and also so fulfilling for us, because along with Milind, there were hundreds of Barodians who joined him at every stage. I remember again, for maybe half a kilometer, was it, that I rode with Milind here in BKC. And then that was about it. I will make it maybe 4 kilometers. So, but to my mind, again, there cannot be a better brand ambassador than Milind. For one, of course, we talk of climate change. Also in terms of all of us doing our bit in our own way for a cause which is so large that it can be almost intimidating in terms of the prospects of success. But again, each of us, if they can do one thing in our own way, it can make a big impact. And third, to my mind, because Milind in so many ways demolishes all the shibboleths about fitness. Age is no barrier. You don't need special equipment, right? You see Milind in his sandals, that's how he rides again, right? And pretty much you can actually just make a start and do something every day. So I think Milind's life, his lifestyle is a lesson for all of us. And every time you see him, I think it makes a difference to all of us. Like today again, when I realized that I had to catch up with him today, I just made sure I wore my slim fit suit so I can look a bit slimmer than I usually do, right? Became a bit more conscious कि ठीक है आज कल 2 दिन से नहीं चला हूँ, but अब अगले हफ्ता ज़रूर चलूँगा मैं. But I think the fact is that people like Milind, particularly in today's age of social media, and we talk of social media as very often in a negative sense, but I think it can be a very, very powerful influence. And I think when a personality like Milind, his lifestyle and the power of social media can come together, it can have a huge impact on all of us as individuals, on the bank to my mind, and also on the wider society. So on behalf of Bank of Baroda, again, a great pleasure, Milind, to have you again. I hope we can have many more such versions. I hope this ride will be much more successful than the last time around, particularly because it is not heading towards polluted Delhi, but towards the Western Ghats and Bangalore. So good luck to you and to everybody who joins this ride.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Milind, please, would request you to address the audience as well.
Well, I think you said everything. But very happy to be here once again. And of course, a big thank you to Bank of Baroda and all the other sponsors. It is the need of the moment, as we know. I mean, we have a summit, environmental summit, that is starting, I think, today in BKC. And we've had so many summits like this and so many conferences. And the whole world is talking about the same thing for the last many years. And of course, it is up to each one of us. We all look at the problem and we say it's huge. But the thing is that the problem has been created by all of us. It's not created by one entity or one government or one corporate. It is our demands of the public, what the public wants. So on the one hand, you have progress. On the other hand, you have a responsibility. So what do each one of us do? We have to think about the things that we consume. Do we really need these things? Do we really need these things? Because every single thing we consume adds to pollution. Everything. So you have to think about all the things that you consume and say, which are the things that are necessary for me and which are not, and make those choices. And these are hard choices, but each one of us has to make these choices. It's not about cycling. It's not about exercise. It's that, of course, if you're really interested in your own health, you will do it for yourself. It's not about the environment. You'll do it for yourself. But when it comes to the environment, each of us is a consumer. Think of yourself as a consumer. How much am I consuming? So there's a very famous quote by Mahatma Gandhi who said, the earth has enough for every man's need, but not every man's greed. And that is so relevant today. Everybody knows that. It's written about all the time that we've become a very consumerist society. We keep buying and buying and buying and disposing and disposing and disposing, right? So of course it's good for the economy, but is it good for the environment? So we don't need to think about that. Just think about, am I doing what is necessary, even for myself? What is necessary? And consume that much. That's something that you can begin to think about. We have been actually trained to consume. The whole world now is trained to consume, to buy new things all the time. But as individuals and with our own intelligence, we have to figure out what is necessary for ourselves. Like, I'll give you an example. For me as a runner, I started marathon running 20 years ago. Right? In 2003, I registered for the first Mumbai marathon. And I did the half marathon. And of course, I was wearing shoes, and I got hooked to running because, I just felt so amazing at the age of 38 that I could run 21 kilometers without stopping. It was an amazing feeling. I felt so empowered. And I was wearing shoes, but after a few years, after you begin to explore and think about it, about what you're doing, what is the best way to do this? What is the most efficient way to do this? How can I improve my running? And I started exploring how it would be to run without shoes. Because running is a natural activity. You shouldn't need shoes to run. So I started running very slowly without shoes. Maybe just started with 500 meters. I was already running marathons. I had run from Delhi to Bombay in 2012. But I started running 500 meters without shoes. And I discovered, in fact, that my entire style of running began to improve. My efficiency as a runner began to improve. My recovery after each run began to improve. So I decided that why would I need shoes? And they're very expensive, 20,000 rupees for a pair of shoes, which I don't need. So I stopped wearing shoes completely. I do another run which is in August, which is about 300 or 400 kilometers. I do it without shoes, So it is up to us to explore, introspect, understand what exactly are our needs, and try to keep those needs to a minimum. That is the way, the biggest way in which each one of us can help to mitigate this environmental crisis. So when it comes to the green ride, of course, everybody doesn't need to do that. Everybody doesn't need to cycle 1,000 kilometers or 1,000 miles or run 300 or 400 kilometers. Just do a little bit, whatever you can. One thing that you do, as Sir mentioned, one thing that you do is going to change the world. One thing. Just imagine, one small thing will already change the world. And that is the message that I want to give. People talk about the environment as something separate, but we don't realize that we are part of the environment. If the environment suffers, we suffer. And we can see those results already. There are a lot of research going on that is showing us how human beings are becoming weaker and weaker from generation to generation. And it's only the choices that we're making for us as individuals. So when it comes to our own health, if we are healthy, then our society will be healthy, our nation will be healthy, the world will be healthier. We'll make healthier choices and then probably not consume as much because we don't need it. What happens when you're healthy is, healthy begins in the mind. Fitness begins in the mind. It creates a positive mindset. Health is positive, very, very positive. You begin to choose things that you need to do. You begin to prioritize things that are necessary when you're healthy. You might not know, but there is research that shows from the time somebody leaves college, or school, if you're not already overweight, by the time you're kind of steady in your job, which is about 35 or so, the average weight people put on is 20 kilos. The average weight. I've met people who come to me because they've lost the weight. They say, I've lost 40 kilos, I've lost 50 kilos, 60 kilos. And my question is, it's tough to lose that much weight. It takes huge amount of grit and dedication. But my question is, how did you put it on? How did you put it on? Where were you looking? What were you thinking? Till you put on 20 kilos, you didn't realize that something is the matter. Something is wrong. We are so disconnected with ourselves because we are trained. We're trained to, be educated in a certain way, go after a job, go after a career, go after a business, make money. But we forget ourselves. We forget what we've also been taught, that health is wealth. That without health, you cannot enjoy life. We forget that. So the idea is to become connected again. All these initiatives, hopefully, will remind people to be connected again. And it's not difficult. You can stop me whenever you want. A lot of people ask me, they say, you're so fit, you're 57 years old, how do you manage to stay so fit? Where do you find the time? Because you're also doing movies and all the other stuff that you're doing. And I ask them, how much do you think I exercise every day? How much do you think I exercise every day?
2 hours.
I never go to the gym. I exercise 15 to 20 minutes every day. You want to be fit? People think I'm fit, and I am fit. 15 to 20, come on, I'm doing 1,000 kilometers in 6 days. I'm fit. Like I said, fitness starts in the mind. I can even imagine this. To imagine it, you have to be fit. Yeah. To imagine that I can do this, you have to be fit. I exercise 15 to 20 minutes in a day, and not even at the same time. I wake up, I do 3-4 minutes, then before lunch, maybe another 30 seconds, 45 seconds, whenever I have time. Before tea, at tea time, another 2-3 minutes. Before I sleep in the night, maybe 5-6 minutes. All together, 15-20 minutes. That's it. If you don't have 15-20 minutes to be as fit as me. You don't have to be as fit as me. You don't have to do Ironman and Ultraman and marathons and 1,000-kilometer cycling. When I did the Green Ride last year, let me tell you, I had not sat on a cycle for 4 years. I got on the cycle and I cycled 1,000 kilometers. How did I do it? Just by regularly exercising a little bit every day, and over a period of time you maintain a level of fitness where you can say, I can do anything. I can climb any mountain, I can swim any sea, I can cycle 1,000 kilometers, I can do whatever I want. I cycled 1,000 kilometers last year comfortably. Only by doing this. I did not specifically train for it. I did not spend 2 hours in the gym. But because of regularly exercising a little bit every day, I was able to do that.
So whoever is interested in being fit or being healthy, you must make that little bit of effort. It's not difficult. People think we don't have time. Who thinks you don't have time? Everybody should put their hands up because you all think you don't have time. I know that. I know that. But the fact is, you do have time. And the fact is that when something is a priority, like your health, you must have time. You must. Because what will you do without health? We have seen during the pandemic, the most people at risk were the people who had health issues. Right? So why do we invite that? Why do we invite health issues by neglecting the way our body functions? By neglecting our body and mind, we invite health issues. Then in the pandemic, we are most at risk. So, my advice or my message or just a tip, you wanted a tip I think, I don't know, is spend 4 or 5 minutes. Start with 1 minute. I would say start with 1 minute. I do push-ups every day, only for 1 minute. How many push-ups can I do in a minute? So if you start now, for example, if you're really unfit, you might be able to do 10 or 15, maybe. But by that, if you keep doing it every day, eventually, and you increase very, very gradually, you'll be able to do 50, 60, 70 in 1 minute. And when you get to 70 push-ups in a minute, just see the level of fitness you'll have. In 1 minute, every day. That's it. So that's all I want to say. I know it was a lot, but simple. I wish you all health and happiness. Again, very thankful to Bank of Baroda for being a part of this. And I'm going to have a great time cycling. It's for fun, for me. It's just fun. And I'm going to really enjoy it. And I hope some of you might feel like joining me. And please feel free to join me wherever you feel like. Or tell your friends on the way. They can join me wherever they want. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Milind.
I want to say one more thing.
Sure.
That, you know, when I finished the ride last year, I met some press in Delhi. They said, "Arey, to aapne kamal kar diya. Aap 1000 kilometer cycling kiya. Aapne bahut mushkil hua hoga. Aapne, what was the toughest thing that you had to face? Itna kiya aapne. What was the toughest?" I said, "Subah jaldi utna." Literally, that is my biggest challenge, to wake up early in the morning. I don't like it. Especially, you know, going towards Delhi, it becomes cold. You want to sleep in the blanket. I love that. I had to push myself to wake up early because I had to cycle 8 or 9 hours in the day. So I have to start early. I had to push myself. During cycling, it was fun. So the biggest challenge sometimes is something very simple, which you have to fight. That's it.
No worries. Thank you, Milind. And I would never ask you to stop midway. The crowd will just attack me. So, okay. Now, if we can have the unveiling of the jersey, please. The GreenRide 2.0 jersey.
Okay. Yep. So there we are. Yep. There we are.
A very important message.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is okay. This is what you wear under the jersey, right? And of course, the same message at the back. There we are.
You have to be kind to all the sponsors.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Mr. Chadda, Milind, I'll request you to just step off the stage for just a minute. We just have an AV to play, so we just need you to step off just for a minute. There we are.
probably recapping your ride.
From last year?
Thank you. Can we play the AV now?
So how would you prefer it? Would you want to be on one side or in the middle?
We should be on one side. So,
Okay, thank you.
so then क्या होगा कि कैमरा को अच्छे से
Music.
ठीक है। अभी ये आपसे सवाल जवाब करेंगे।
Okay. We now come to the second part of the morning. And we have a very interesting discussion now, and it promises to be both an enlightening as well as a fun conversation.
We can make the adjustment.
And to facilitate this conversation and this discussion, we are delighted to have with us quite a very familiar name to many of us, RJ Archana. I'm sure many of you have heard of her. So many of us are listeners and fans of her show, Archu Ka Show. I'm sure many of you have heard it. Archana works for Radio City, and so apparently I think Archu Ka Show is all about fun and shared conversations. And so we have Archana, who's going to facilitate this discussion between Mr. Chadda and Milind. So Mr. Chadda and Milind, if you can also please join us.
Thank you, Firoza. I hope this is working. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hello, welcome everyone. Can I get everybody to say a big hi? और ये हाय मिलन के लिए है क्योंकि हाय हाय इनको देखिए आपने ऑलरेडी कर ली जिसने किया I want to know that girl who actually screamed when he came in. Can I have the girl whose hand go up unless she's worried about her job or something? I think you had, yeah, there was a girl. Oh my God, you've got to meet us, okay? We're going to get a picture with you, especially a very exciting one with Milind. He wants 10 push-ups. I don't know if you're game for that. Okay, सबसे पहली बात आज 16 दिसंबर की तारीख है बहुत ही सिग्निफिकेंट तारीख है दुल्हन की विदाई का वक्त बदलना है Does anybody know in the audience what I just referred to? Then they are fans. What is this? Who's going to tell us? It was Milind's film. Can we clap? What a date to have him here. ये आपका डायलॉग इतना आइकॉनिक क्यों है लोग इतने पगला क्यों जाते हैं इस डायलॉग को लेके
It's Gulshan Grover. He's amazing. It's his line, it's not my line. So it's fantastic.
Everybody wanted me to say this to you. Like I had a bunch of people who are your fans and they were like, say this to Milind and we want to see his reaction, and you had an epic reaction on it. Do you have any memories of 16 December, the film, or the BTS or something? How was it back then for you to shoot?
Well, it's one of the first movies that I did. I think maybe the second film that I did.
I looked at
third,
the
is it?
filmography, it was
maybe third. And of course it was great fun because you had Gulshan Grover and you had Danny And it was just so much fun to shoot. Also, the director was making a film for the first time, and he was very excited. So it's always and the script was amazing. I mean, the funny thing was that the script was so good, and we got to the end of the film, and we shot the climax. I don't know if the director will be happy for me to say this. His name is Mani Shankar, very sweet guy. He said, you know, मुझे Sunny Deol का climax चाहिए. So I was like, but this is not a Sunny Deol movie, you know, and I am not Sunny Deol. And even the story and whatever you've made is not that kind of a film. So why would you do that? He said, no, Sunny Deol. He was a fan of Sunny Deol. So I was like, okay. And everybody was also a little, you know, like, why would you want to make this into that kind of a film? So we even spoke to the producer and said, you know, why is he making this climax? And the producer said, it's okay, he's the director, let him do what he wants. So we shot it, and we all thought it was horrible. And even the producer thought it was horrible. So, so everyone made a petition to Mani Shankar saying, please, sir, can you do something? It doesn't work. The whole film is so amazing. He said, ठीक है, मैं कुछ करता हूँ. So he rewrote the climax, and that's where this line comes from. Because for the first time, for those who haven't seen the film, it used a lot of micro technology, you know, small cameras and, you know, hearing devices, which had never been done in Hindi movies before. And also the end of the film, the climax was about diffusing a bomb.
Yeah.
So he diffuses a voice-activated bomb. Imagine, this is almost 25 years ago. A voice-activated bomb, which even after that nobody has used in Hindi movies. So that was so amazing for people to see that, you know, we were trying to get together that line, which was the code to diffuse the bomb. It was Dulhan ki bidai. The bomb was called Dulhan for some reason. Dulhan ki bidai ka waqt badalna hai was the code to diffuse the bomb.
Oh my God, epic!
Amazing.
You know, what amazes me is your consistency in the way you've looked. Does everybody agree that Milind looks hotter every year? Yes. You know,
my mother doesn't agree. She never agreed. She said, I don't know why people are so crazy about you.
I have to say, is it a state of mind? Is it something that you do on a daily basis? Do you self-talk? And आजकल इसकी बहुत चर्चा होती है. Affirmations, look in the mirror, say you love yourself. And I would like to begin the conversation on this note, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि a lot of us here have, you know, issues with the way we see ourselves. And we may not be as good looking as a Milind is, but I mean, I'm just saying, in the journey, how does that impact you, and has that been a part of your self-talk?
No. Because so a lot of people say this to me when I talk about health and fitness and, you know, mental health and, you know, how you should maybe face life and so on. They say, oh, it's easy for you, you're rich and famous and good looking.
Yeah.
So हमारे लिए तो, you know, अलग बात है. So I say it's not like that. So I think most of the way I am comes from sports.
Yeah.
Right. So I was very lucky as a child that my parents allowed me to swim competitively. I started swimming competitively at the age of 9. Okay. I won my first medal at the national level at the age of 9. So that was a great incentive for me to continue. You know, एक बार medal जब मिलता है तो you feel, you know, recognized and, you know, all of that. So I swam at the national level for 14 years. And I was national champion in my event. I represented India in swimming. But sports really teaches you mental discipline. Yeah. Apart from the fact that my body was amazing, beautiful.
Oh my God. Let's not get started.
Like really, yeah. I mean, even though I say it was then, it's not the same now, but then it was just fantastic. I mean, I'll tell you, so I was at national coaching camp once, I think before the 1982 Asian Games, and there was a German coach who was training the team, and I arrived 2 days late. So he had been training the team, and then when I came onto the swimming pool, he looked at me and he said, this guy looks like a swimmer. Oh. And he had already been training the Indian swimming team. So that's, I mean, that must be genetic, you know, the shape of the body. But of course, a lot of hard work. I was swimming, just to let you know, around 65 kilometers a week in training. I don't even run that much today. 65 kilometers a week in swimming. So obviously it shows, you know.
No vada pav?
Of course, vada pav and everything. There was no concept of dieting and, you know, energy drinks and supplements and nothing at that time. I'm talking about the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody cared. Enerzol, you know, whatever it might be. There was nothing at that time. No fruit juice.
Yeah.
Not even fruit juice. अब आजकल तो ये खाओ वो खाओ ऐसा करो वैसा करो. Nothing at all. So it was just regular Maharashtrian home food, which I still eat. Like my favorite food is dal khichdi. Like people ask me, खाते क्या हो? What will you eat during the green ride? Dal khichdi. It's the best. It's the best thing to eat. But people are again taught differently today that you need supplements and you need a special kind of diet and you know things like that.
Keto and vegan.
All kinds of things, you know, information, which to me is a little strange. I have always eaten just home cooked food and very simple food, and I think that's the best
Kept
food
you
for me.
good stead, yeah.
And I also believe that, you know, when people talk about health food or healthy food, the healthiest food is something that your body is comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know, so some people say you have to eat meat, but your body may not be comfortable with meat. Your mind may not be comfortable with meat. So you have to eat food that is easily digestible by your body. And that is different for different people. So you have to figure out what is the best diet for yourself.
I'm going to come to Sanjeev ji. We love
What do
millet.
you
We
eat?
know that. No, I'm going to come to that.
Come on, you have to ask him the same
No, I
question.
will. But I have to ask you, because we're talking Milind right now, और क्योंकि Green Ride हो रहा है, तो I just want to say thank you firstly for having him here and making us proud, you know, India proud, like, because he said Jai Hind and I know he makes us look good. But why is it कि Bank of Baroda ने इनको चुना और वो ये बार-बार चुन रहे हैं? आपकी क्या पर्सपेक्टिव है?
देखिए, मिलिंद है, तो इसलिए आपको मिलिंद से पूछना चाहिए कि इन्होंने बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा क्यों चुना?
No sir, but you know, I'm so happy क्योंकि मैं जब आपका वीडियो भी देख रही थी of the first season, I was like, it's such a good association. M for Mumbai, M for Milind, and M for all things must. I am so glad to make the environment a better place. You've chosen him who's already been taking steps. तो ये क्या एक बहुत ही, you know, thought process था, आप लोग मिलके आपने, you know, सोचा इसके बारे में?
Yeah, I think what happens is that there are some people who again are the first recall, right? So whenever we think of a few things, that each of us needs to do something in their own way. Two, what we could do should be practical for us, right? It should not be something which is very complicated. And three, again, that you can actually, through your personality, not only through your acts, inspire others to follow you. Yeah. So I don't think there is anybody who can answer to that description better than Milind, and we are very proud to associate ourselves.
Thank you, sir.
पर थोड़ी देर पहले आपकी भी फिटनेस की बात हो रही थी और हमने सुना कि आपको पता था कि मिलिंद के आपको बगल में बैठना है तो आप भी एक्स्ट्रा वॉक करके आने वाले थे, ऐसा कुछ हुआ है सर?
नहीं, देखिए ऐसा है कि आप बिल्कुल सही फरमा रही हैं कि हम सबके लिए, अब मिलिंद तो नहीं बन सकते, पर हम सबके लिए अपनी तरफ से जितना कुछ हम कर सकते हैं फिटनेस की बहुत ज़रूरी है जी। और खासकर जब मेरी उम्र तक आप पहुँचे तो मुझे तो हमेशा जो है
How old are you?
59, soon to be 60, not too bad, not too far away.
I'm 2 years behind.
There we are. So शुरू से एक तो मुझे खेलने का बहुत शौक था, मतलब ऐसा कोई खेल नहीं है which I have not played with an equal degree of incompetence, right? And I think that is important. That while for Milind again it was the fact that he was a swimmer, was successful, important. But I think what is important for most of us is that you should enjoy what you are doing. Yeah. That really is something that can bring you out every day. Yeah. And I think in India, again, at least when we were growing up, there was not so much of other things like social media. Yeah. For sports was what you actually did every day. And I was also very fortunate with my parents कि जब जिस दिन एग्जाम भी होता था वो कहते थे कि देखिए मुझे पता तुम्हारा दिल्ली लगेगा, तुम पहले 2 घंटे शाम को खेल के आओ, उसके बाद पढ़ाई का सोचना।
अरे वाह sir, you are amazing parents. That's amazing and very rare, if I may say so.
So I think that was something which privilege, and I think that's something which I believe we should encourage all, because all of us, apart from individuals, most of us are parents, and I think making sure that that spirit of sport is something that kids imbibe is something which is very important.
I'm very curious to know आप कौन-कौन से sports खेलते थे?
I beg your pardon?
आप कौन-कौन से sports खेलते थे?
Everything. मतलब आप क्या नहीं खेलते तो आसान हो जाएगा. Which means, and there was time when I was in college, so I was again doing my MPhil in GNU. So नाम के लिए MPhil करता था. But you play on first you play tennis from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. 6 के बाद आप बैडमिंटन कोर्ट में जाते थे, but और लोग वेट कर रहे होते थे. जब बैडमिंटन गेम के लिए टाइम नहीं मिला तो जाके आप टीटी खेलते थे. So that's the kind of sports.
How nice! it's that time of the year, Milind, जब हम सब लोग यहाँ पे अपने आप को promise करेंगे कि oh the new year resolution time, we're gonna get fitter, और ये पता नहीं क्यों नया जोश हमारे अंदर आ जाता है हर दिसंबर के महीने में. संजय जी, आपके साथ ऐसा होता है कभी ऐसे year ending? वाओ, अभी फिर से करेंगे.
ये तो रोज ही होता है.
What do you think about people who can't keep through? And you said you have issues waking up in the morning. मुझे आपसे ये पूछना है, जब आप कहते हो कि आप रूटीन में नहीं हो, फिर भी आप फिट रहते हो 20 मिनट के उस एक्सरसाइज के साथ. What is the message we are giving everyone? And how do you want to tell people कि resolution पे stick करो, अमल करो?
Well, the thing is, so a lot of people ask about motivation.
Yeah.
You know, what is it? How do I keep myself motivated? So the whole thing is that we have been told again that we need to be fit, we need to be healthy.
Yeah.
Sometimes the doctor is telling you need to do that, but now you're reading it everywhere in the media, and you're making this resolution saying, yes, it is important, I should be fit, I should be healthy, because everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that unless you have a reason, your personal reason, to do anything in fact, even if it's part of your job, unless you have a personal reason to do it, you will not do it. So you have to think of your reason. You want to be healthy? Why do you want to be healthy? You want to be fit? Why do you want to be fit? What do you want to be fit for?
Yeah.
And make a goal for that. Why do you want to be fit? Why do you want to be healthy? Right? And you were talking earlier about how we should encourage children, to be part of sports and all of that. I think the responsibility is still with the parents. The parents need to be in sports.
Correct.
The parents need to exercise.
Correct.
The parents need to show the children, not just tell them what is a better lifestyle. Because all children and everybody learns from example. Like you're saying, how does it work on social media? In fact, on my Instagram, my bio says that I do not give advice. I do not tell people what to do. I just do what I do. Right? So just by doing what I'm doing and people watching me, so many people come to me every day to tell me, oh, we started running because of you, we lost weight because of you, we're getting fitter because of you. And that is true for everybody. You start doing something good, people are going to follow you. People around you, your friends, your family, your children, they're all going to look up to you and they're going to follow you if you do something good for yourself, not for other people. If you want to do for other people, it's okay. Do it for yourself first. So when I started Pinkathon, Pinkathon is a women's run that I started in 2012. The idea was that all marathons, are associated with a cause. All over the world, they are associated with a cause. Running, because everybody used to think, क्यों दौड़ रहे हैं? कुछ तो वजह होनी चाहिए ना? किसका मदद हो रहा है? किसी भला हो रहा है? कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, ऐसे दौड़ रहे हैं, पागल है. And people used to tell me, क्यों दौड़ रहे हैं? So all marathons, right from America to England and every other country and India also, associated with a cause. So when I started Pinkathon, and people asked me, okay, you're starting it's a run for women, what is the cause? So I said, the cause is women. I mean, what could the cause be? It's women's health. So I created the tagline saying the cause is you.
Wow.
You're not running for somebody else.
Yeah.
You're running for yourself. Just remember that. Even though, yes, the money may go to some NGO or help other people, but you are running for yourself. Your life is going to change if you run. Your life is going to get better if you run. Your entire life, your future, starts from today when you start running.
But you said you swam before, and obviously you were competing at
And I used to hate running.
So you competed at an international level, and then you had to shift to a land mode where you had to work out to keep fit. What was your motivation?
I didn't have to.
No, but I'm just asking, what was your motivation? What was your reason?
So that's the thing. So I used to hate running. But as a child, I had heard this story of the marathon. So Marathon is a town in Greece, as we know. And the story is that when the Greeks and the Persians were fighting in Marathon, there was a big battle. The Greeks defeated the Persians, and this guy Philippides ran from Marathon to Athens, which is the capital, to announce the victory of the Greeks, and that is about 42 kilometers. And he ran 42 kilometers, announced the victory, and he died. So it became a mythical story, like wow, this happened. And that's how the marathon became a story like that. So I had heard this when I was a child. And I used to think that, every man should run a marathon. It's like a rite of passage. If you don't run one marathon in your life, you're not a man. But I was a child. Children are crazy. But when I grew older, so at the age of 38, the Mumbai Marathon was announced. And I said, I should do at least one. I don't like running. but I should do at least one. It's a marathon, I must do it.
और उसके पहले आप जिम जाते थे, क्या करते
नहीं,
थे?
कहीं नहीं जाता था.
And you didn't do any bit of
I
fitness.
did nothing, but because of my swimming, which was
Yeah.
so much,
Yeah.
and I stopped at the age of 23, that effect,
Was
that foundation lasted me till 2003
Wow.
when I started running.
Wow.
15 years almost
Yeah.
of doing no sport, no exercise. I was very active. And because of, so what I was trying to tell you earlier about the kind of person I am, which comes from swimming. So when you're saying the kind of person, it means the way you think.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you're doing sports, especially competitive sport, your focus is on being better every day.
Yeah.
Your focus, everything you do, you think, you eat, you speak, is improving every session.
Yeah.
Every day, twice a day, you want to get better at whatever you're doing. That discipline is ingrained in you as a sports person, as a competitive sports person. So it is not so much the competition with me. I'm not competing with anybody else, but I'm just trying to be better every day.
Yeah.
So when I do a ride like this, it's a challenge for me. Let me see if I can do this well. I'm now 57. Maybe I did it when I was 30. Can I do it when I'm 40? Can I do it when I'm 50? Can I do it when I'm 60? Maybe can I do it when I'm 70? Like when I did Ironman, I was 50.
Wow.
And that's when actually, you know, in India, you could feel the shift that
Yeah.
Indians were beginning to think about health and fitness. So I turned 50 in 2015. And in 2014, I was thinking, how should I celebrate my 50th year? You know, everybody at 30 also, they say, oh, it's 30, what is the party? When you have a party? When you turn 40, is where's the party? So 50 is the same, it's a big milestone. And everybody was asking me, what are you going to do? You're going to be 50, where's the party? I said, I don't do party. I stopped doing parties when I was 27. So I said, it has to be some kind of a challenge, you know. I want to test myself. At 50, how good am I at living life, at enjoying life? And somebody suggested Ironman, which for those who don't know, is a 3.8 kilometer swim, 180 kilometers cycling, and 42 kilometers running. You have to do one after the other. And you have to finish everything in 16 hours. So I said, this is a good challenge.
And you trained for it for how long?
For 88 days.
My God.
So almost 3 months.
So you started on 4th November, our birthday.
I didn't start on
Sorry,
4th
slipping
November.
in it, slipping
So
in.
I don't remember the exact date I did Ironman. It was in Zurich sometime in July of 2015. So I wasn't really 50 yet, but it was my 50th year. But the thing is that after I did it, I posted on Facebook, one Ironman done, #50. That's all I posted. But everybody, like every media house, every publication was calling me in Switzerland to say, how did you do this? You're 50 years old.
Yeah.
And that was when I realized that people were starting to care about being fit. Otherwise, I had swum, you know, I represented India, I'm running marathons since 2003. Nobody cares. They're saying, pagal hai. But now, they're like, how did you do Ironman at 50? How could you do it? And I mean, the fact is that the first Ironman from India is a woman.
Oh.
So, yeah, in 2009, but nobody cared. Nobody cared in 2009 what is Ironman, but it was a woman from India who first completed Ironman. So that you should clap about.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So the thing is that swimming gave me a kind of mental discipline to understand what are the good choices and what are the bad choices. So today, again, I believe that fitness is how you deal with life, the life that you choose. You might choose a corporate life. Are you fit for that? Or you make yourself fit for that? You might want to have a child. Are you fit to be a parent? Or you make yourself fit to be a parent?
Yeah.
Are you fit to be a friend? Are you fit? So what are you fit for? You can always develop that fitness, improve that fitness.
I love it.
You know, so that idea also comes from sport. You decide, you choose. What do you want to do? There's a lot of people are good at things, but they're not fit for it.
Yeah.
Like you see, there's so many famous people, especially in media celebrities, who have gone onto drugs, they've killed themselves, they've gone into depression. A lot of movie actors, singers, performers, they can't deal with it. They're good at it. They make people laugh. Robin Williams make people laugh all over the world, and he was depressed, and nobody knew. So he was not able to deal with Jim Carrey, not able to deal with the success.
Yeah.
Are you fit for that? That also you have to develop, and that's a mental thing. So everything is about what you choose and then becoming fit for that.
I'm going to move to Sanjay ji at this point to ask him.
Please do.
Since he said कि corporate world or you know आपकी life बहुत busy रहती है. You never know when a call's coming in. You don't know what's gonna your day look like. How do you manage to slip in time for your fitness?
So I think one is what we discussed, that try to.
So you said 2 hours in the gym for
Yeah.
me. Do you do 2 hours? What do you do? Tell us the secret.
Yeah. So I think one is, as I said, try to pick those things that you enjoy, right? It's almost impossible to carry on doing what you don't enjoy. So what works for Milind may not work for you, but as Milind said, try to choose what you want to enjoy. And for me, again, what two things which now I enjoy most is walking and yoga abhyas. This is what I always do. In fact, I was last year particularly, I was so hooked into it that when the day Milind, we had that cycling thing, so I thought, my God, I'll miss my yoga abhyas today. So I brought my mat along. After the cycle was done, I came back to my office and I did yoga abhyas.
Oh my God, that's amazing! Did you see?
So you keep your mat in the office?
That day I brought it actually, otherwise I do it at home.
Did you see a huge shift in how your life changed post?
So I think it does, because there are so many things, right? One is that if you feel fit, you feel good. There's no doubt, right? There's that dopamine effect that once you exercise and once you get hooked, it works. But I think for me, always the toughest part is to make a start. That starting trouble is a huge thing, which is why, again, I think what you need to possibly just convince yourself is that, look, if you can't do an hour today, even if it's 10 minutes, it's fine. I think that's something which is important.
So you do follow that. You know, we see Milind and Ankita doing so much of this fitness thing together. क्या आप भी आपके बीवी के साथ ऐसे goals रखते हो?
Absolutely. So I think everything. We go for a walk every morning together. Yoga has together. That's how it works.
It's great to bond over fitness. That's what I think. How does that help you? You know, I mean, also because I think I'm sure you're a taskmaster.
No, my wife is an instructor. She's an instructor.
She is a taskmaster.
So I will tell you, my wife is learning how to swim now.
Oh my God.
Next year she is going to teach me how to swim.
Is she one of those? Is she one of those? No.
Oh yeah, she is. No, she's really focused about it. Like when people meet me and all, they say, you take it so lightly. You know, you're doing this. Like when I did Ultraman, again, to just tell you, it's a 10-kilometer swim, 420-kilometer cycling, and 84 kilometers running. So I did that in the US, and before I went there, I had a crew for that event. Okay, so they were asking me, so what is your nutrition plan?
Okay.
I said, what nutrition plan? Because, you know, the sports people are so focused on, you know, every single little thing. I said, whatever they have to eat, I'll eat. They said, are you crazy?
Wow.
You can't just eat anything. You have to have a nutrition plan. So, but I didn't have a nutrition plan. I just ate whatever they had and I completed it, so I was very happy. That was the thing.
I've heard people have burgers at this because, you know, they feel so burnt out. What is the, I can't say unhealthiest,
you can have a burger if you want.
Do you? Do you?
I had a beer.
But what do you eat? I'm very keen
I eat everything. So in an endurance event, suppose you're doing a whole day event where you're just running and running and running, like a 12-hour run or a 100-mile run, 160 kilometers. Obviously, you have to keep eating because your body is expending the energy. You have to keep eating. That food gets digested slowly and you get energy from that food. So again, it depends on what you're comfortable with. So you have to train for that. In your training, you have to understand what is the food you're going to eat. So I was drinking like a sattu. Everybody knows sattu?
Of course!
So made of ragi, malted ragi, roasted and sprouted with jaggery and water. That's it. So I kept drinking that very diluted sattu and it was good enough for me.
How desi are you? I love it.
I'm very desi.
I love it.
I look very westernized, but I'm very desi.
Well, I have to ask this because I think environmental problems सोच के ही लोग होते हैं अभी यार कोई ज्ञान देने लगेगा but मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ ये एक sensitivity होना भी एक like so in my college there was TIFR, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, and they picked a handful of us who were questioned as to why would we want to do this program, which is to sensitize us on environment. And I feel so happy and proud that I sit next to somebody who I share my birthday with, who also has a heart that beats for the environment. May I please ask Milind कि ये एक sensitivity आपके लिए कहाँ शुरू हुई थी?
So again, it was in childhood. I had this fascination for wildlife. I had a rabbit when I was about 4 years old, which froze to death. That's another story. I had a rabbit and and I had fish. And then when I was a little bit older, about 10 or 11, I had a lot of pets at home. I had snakes.
Oh my,
I had rabbits,
the
I had
advertisement
cats,
was yours?
rats. Which is another one. No. It wasn't. That was a big...
I was just waiting to slip it in. I was like, you advertise for shoes with a snake. Who
I would have
does that in
loved-
the world? Can we clap for that advert? Milind, you knew trollers before trollers existed. What was it like back then? I'm going to have to slip in this controversy because it's really etched in our memory.
So it's strange the way social media works. You know, in fact, I posted a picture of this ad. So this ad was 1995 for those who know. And I was naked in the ad with a snake wrapped around me and with my girlfriend also, who was also naked. And it was for shoes. Nobody saw the shoes.
And that's when you decided, I don't want to wear them.
That came much later. So I posted that picture a couple of years ago and said that I wonder what the response would be like today. So a lot of people said, अरे आज तो कुछ नहीं होगा, ये तो बहुत common है यार, आजकल ये होता है, TV पे होता है, यहाँ होता है, वहाँ होता है, इंटरनेट पे हर जगह होता है. And then I ran naked on my birthday 2 years ago, and there was a lot of noise. Then Ranveer posed naked for some magazine after that, and there was a huge. But people respond differently at different times.
Right.
You know, they're like, oh, there's no problem with this. Then you do it, there's a big problem. No, it's okay, then there's a big problem. So, yeah, I mean, what can you say? The thing is, with social media, and it's a great thing, that today everybody has a voice. I mean, we are a democracy, right? The thing that we want most is that everyone must have a voice.
Yeah.
But when we hear it, we have a problem.
Yeah.
We have a problem. We're saying, people, why are they saying this? Why are they saying that? These are trolls, this is that, and then they're complaining. ऐसे कैसे बोल सकते हैं लोग? We should celebrate it.
Well, you
We are hearing everyone's opinion. We should celebrate it. No, I love it.
No, I'm saying you seem to have an open heart to whatever is coming in that might be negative.
People say all kinds of things to me, and I like it. At least it gives me an idea of what's going on in the country. You know, new generations. Earlier you could, right in ancient times, say you could hear the sound of one voice. That was the king, right? That was all you could hear. Nobody cared. Like especially when this topic comes up about nudity. Like in India, nudity is not an offense. People don't even know that.
Oh.
See, you didn't know that. It becomes offensive only if you bother people where you are.
Yeah.
Right? So if you flash, for example, and somebody complains, then it's a problem.
It's the intent.
Otherwise, nudity, no, because we've got Naga sadhus, we've got so much nudity, and Khajuraho, all of these Kama Sutra, I mean, that's part of our culture.
Exactly.
And at that time, I mean, I tell people that at that time, maybe the king wanted that. They said, no, this must be there. Or the people who were in power said, this must be there. At that time also, maybe people objected. We don't know. What is these nude people on the temple? It's very bad. Maybe they said it. We only know the voice that we heard.
Yeah.
So today, until recent times, you could hear maybe politicians, maybe you could hear actors, maybe you could hear heads of state. Today, you can hear everyone. Voice from every corner. We should celebrate that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And at that point, I want to ask you, what is your message for environment? We stopped at the snake जो आपने पाला था, but उसके आगे की कहानी कि आपने environment की तरफ आपका दिल कब गया?
So wildlife. I used to love wildlife. So then I used to like trekking. I used to like going to wildlife parks, and I had animals at home.
Yeah.
And so then I was naturally attuned to that. My favorite channel on TV was at that time there was an Animal Planet, but it was National Geographic. And other things like that. So it was always like keeping the spaces pristine for animals.
Yeah.
It was not really about human beings. It was about keeping the forests pristine, keeping wild spaces, keeping the seas clean, and so on. But now, of course, I tell people that because people really don't care that much about the environment. They just don't.
Yeah.
They're still throwing things everywhere, plastic. Very few people really
Funnily,
care.
संजय जी, मुझे हमेशा actually बड़े गाड़ियों से लोगों को ऐसे कचरा फेंकते हुए देख के इतनी घिन आती है. I don't get it. What are they thinking?
Yeah, because so that's why I believe that if we begin to care about ourselves, if we begin to care about ourselves and you work for our own health, naturally these things will go away. Now we are discovering that microplastics are inside our body, inside our organs, inside the heart, inside unborn babies. Microplastics.
Yes.
Because, we are just going overboard with the use of plastics. So it's up to us.
Yeah.
If we don't demand, there will be no supply. We are demanding it.
Yeah.
People, each individual one, we are saying we want this, and that's why we are getting it. That's why it's being manufactured. That's why it's being distributed.
What was your first green step, if I may ask? आपने क्या किया था? पेड़ लगाया, क्या किया?
पेड़ तो मैंने बहुत लगाए हैं. In fact, I have houses in different places, and I make sure that it's a jungle. I grow my own jungle, and then I make a house inside it. But the first public thing I did was Greenathon. There was a run called Greenathon. I don't know if you heard about it. That was in 2010.
Okay.
It was done by NDTV. And I ran, they came to me one year. I'd just done my first full marathon in 2009. And they said, we're doing this Greenathon to promote environmental awareness. And I said, okay. They said, can you run in Greenathon? I said, I'll run, but I'm not a monkey. You have to pledge money for every kilometer I run.
Wow.
They said, okay, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So they said, how much can you run? I said, I'll run 60 kilometers. It was a 24-hour telethon for people to donate money. With the donated money, they were putting up solar lamps in different villages which didn't have electricity. So I said, if you donate money, I will run. So they said, how much? I said, 60 kilometers. So they said, you'll run 60 kilometers? I said, yeah, I can do 60 kilometers. So I ran 60 kilometers. They were very excited. They raised 30 lakhs just from the run. Otherwise, they raised a lot of other money, but only from the run, they raised 30 lakhs. The next year again, they came to me and they said, oh, we have Greenathon again. How much will you run? I said, I run 100 kilometers. So they said, okay, very good, very good. And I ran 100 kilometers. They raised 50 lakhs or a little bit more. Next year again, they came to me. I said, no, I don't want to do more than 100 kilometers because I'll be tired. I want to be comfortable.
Gee.
That's my idea of comfort. I should be comfortable doing anything. So I said, you give me 15 days, I will run from Ahmedabad to Bombay. They said, oh, you run from Ahmedabad to Bombay? That's 400 kilometers. I said, yeah, 15 days, I'll do it, 35 kilometers every day. So I did that, and they raised a lot of money. But apart from the money, it was the attention.
Yeah.
That somebody is running from, and this is 2011. Then in 2012, I said, give me 1 month, I will run from Delhi to Bombay.
My God.
So they said,
What is this?
after that it shut down, thankfully. But that was the first initiative where I'd done a public campaign for environment. So up till 2012, the Greenathon, it was amazing. I had an amazing experience doing that, and also interacting with people on the way. You know, also learning about traditional practices that are also environmental friendly, which we don't practice anymore.
Yeah.
Because we love quick fixes. You know, everybody wants everything should happen now. It has to happen right now. And with traditional practices, sometimes it takes time. It takes a little bit of effort. The traditional practices are very good for you. They're good for the environment. They're good for everything. But they take time and they take effort.
Give us an example.
We want solar cooking.
Yeah.
We want it to happen now. Right? So, in our pursuit of having everything now, technology has been developed to give you everything you want now. But that technology sometimes is not good for the environment. That technology sometimes requires a lot of fossil fuel, or it requires other things that are not, or mining, you know, a lot of resources that are taken out that are never going to be replaced. You know, those are the kind of demands that we have created today as a consumer society, saying we want this now. We want it right now. Abhi chahiye. कल नहीं चाहिए, अगले महीने में नहीं चाहिए, आज चाहिए. And you know how fast it's become. Phone karo, Amazon and whoever. Now 24 hours delivery has become like 1 hour delivery, half an hour delivery, 30 seconds delivery. You know, you'll get your pizza in 1 minute. So that kind of mindset, unfortunately, I believe is not a healthy mindset. That is not something we should encourage. What should be encouraged is taking time over things. And there are concepts like that now. Slow cooking is a concept that has come back. Slow fashion. Because fashion became very fast fashion. There's a concept of fast fashion. That fashion then began to change every week. I mean, imagine, what an imagination. Fashion changing every week. Now there is a concept of slow fashion to go back. Because a lot of people realize that that kind of lifestyle is not healthy. Not healthy for you, not healthy for the environment. Instant gratification, instant consumerism is going to get worse and worse for us and also the environment.
You know, इस बात पे मेरी सासू माँ बहुत अच्छी बात बोलती हैं. वो कहती हैं कि पहले ज़माने में हम दिवाली तक वेट करते थे नए कपड़ों के लिए. आज हम हर महीने नए कपड़े खरीदते हैं.
हर हफ्ते?
हाँ, sorry. Actually, sorry. I think all girls. Sanjay, I'm going to come to you and ask you about BKC since he said that a lot of things need to slow down. और यहाँ पे तो dedicated cycle के lanes हैं जहाँ पे cycle कम दिख रही हैं. आपको इसको लेके आपकी perspective क्या है?
So, मेरे ख्याल जो है अल्टीमेटली फैसिलिटीज होना एक बात है और साथ में जो अवेयरनेस होना है, एंड आई थिंक एज एम्प्लॉयर्स वी आल्सो नीड टू डू मोर. For instance, again, if you take the example of London, where I lived for a few years, so there it took Boris Johnson again to actually introduce the Boris bikes, and within a few years it became something which was very, very popular. But the employers also there stepped in and said, look, you're coming by cycle from your tube. We'll make sure that there's a shower room which is there in every office, so that when you come, there's space for you to park your bike, you can take a shower, and then you can go up and work. So I think there's an ecosystem that needs to build up along with this. The second thing again is, I think it's important that we don't lose hope. Because when we talk of London, it is a fact that sometime in the 50s, there was the Great Fog of London, where literally thousands of people died because of pollution, right? And that's when the Clean Air Act was passed. And today, when you see Delhi showing 300 or more, London shows 2. So it is possible. But I think all of us need to make a start and make sure that we build the ecosystem which makes it possible.
अगर फिटनेस की हम बात कर रहे थे, like he said so well, कि mental fitness is such a big part of everything today, and physical fitness, we're starting to have these conversations. But अगर financial fitness कहें तो वो क्या होता है?
देखिए अल्टीमेटली जो मिलन ने कहा फिजिकल फिटनेस में वही होता है, which means that ultimately you consume only as you much. Just like resources are finite, your financial resources are also again limited. There's, as Milan quoted Mahatma Gandhi, that there's enough for everybody's need, but not enough for anybody's greed. I think the same applies to us and our financial planning.
That's so true. How old were you when you started investing?
So actually, again, you shouldn't ask me the question. Because again, and this goes for most bankers. In fact, if you were to ask me that, am I a role model when it comes to fitness? I would say I'm nearer a role model when it comes to fitness than financial planning.
Oh, why would that happen to a banker?
So this is what happens, right? This is good for banks actually. The lazier I am, the more money I keep in the bank. It works well for the bank.
But कभी आपने शुरुआत करी फिर?
So again, the fact is at the end of the day, you always made sure that in terms of spending, right? Like again, what Milan told us last time, exercise is important, but what you eat is more important, because you can never exercise your way through again all that you eat. I think the same thing again applies to financial planning, that it is make sure that you again are prudent with the expenses. Financial planning will take care of itself.
What a lovely way to think. Milan, how old were you when you started thinking finance? Because you probably when you were younger and doing whatever you were.
I was 52.
No way.
No way. So I'll tell you what I used to do when I was younger. So I was never very money minded at all. When I started modeling, for example, so I didn't know that even modeling was a profession when I started. You know, I was just beautiful. So people came to me and said, "Can you shoot? Can you shoot?" And I said, "No," because I was very shy. And they said, "But we'll pay you." I said, "Okay, that's interesting. How much will you pay me?" So for the first job that I did, they said, "We just want you to change your shirt for couple of hours, 4 or 5 shirts. We'll take pictures." And they said, "We'll pay you." I said, "How much?" They said, they said, "How much do you want?" I said, "Have you done this before?" They said, "Yeah, this advertising, we do it all the time." So I said, "How much did you pay the last guy?" They said, "We paid him 35,000 rupees. So this is in 1989, okay? 35,000 rupees was a lot of money.
Like lakhs, maybe. Like.
So you calculate, no? So what percent? You calculate, you find out. So I think it's about 50 lakhs or something.
Oh my
I think so. So then I said, "Pay me 50,000. So they said, "Okay." I said, "This is a good business." So
do you call yourself a businessman then?
No. I'm an opportunist. Totally, I'm just an opportunist, and not just for money or anything. For everything, I'm an opportunist. Oh, this is going to be good. I want to do that. This is a great experience. I want to do this. This is money. I want to do that. So I said, "Okay, this is great." So then I started working as a model, and I would work, accumulate some money, and then I would stop working. I said, "Abhi nahi karna hai." I will spend all the money.
Oh God.
I'd have like 5,000 rupees left, then I'll start working again. That's what I used to do till the age of 52.
Oh my God, that's amazing. But there must be so much
52.
trust in the universe that I'll be taken care of.
Yeah. I don't know how and from where it was, but I did. And the thing is that also, see, I started making a lot of more money after the age of 30, 35, you know. So even though I was trying to spend all of it before I worked again, there were interesting things happening, so I was doing it. So money got, saved and invested automatically, that's very, very lucky for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that's how it was. I was never concerned about investing.
And who prompted you and who pulled you into it?
So I got married 4 years ago.
I love the way you laugh at yourself.
So
how many times has this exercise happened?
So, I got married once before in 2009. That lasted about 3 years because my wife was French. And I didn't want to live in France and she didn't want to live in India. So I don't know why we got married, but we did. And then I said, okay, but that's when I started a company.
Okay.
So I do plan in a way. I said I must become a little stable. I got married, I'll start a business.
Okay.
So I've always been involved in event management. I love organizing events, right? My first company I started in 1989 was an event company. Okay. And that was one of the first event companies in the country. So even the Pinkathon, for example, which I organized, was done by my own company. So I started that, and I started a business. The marriage didn't work out, but the business did well. And then when I got married, now I said, no, now I must invest because, I'm 52. And I might want to stop working completely. Like right now, even I'm almost retired. I just do whatever I want for the last 20 years. But if I want to just completely stop working, go and live somewhere in the mountains, then, who's going to take care of my wife? Right? So I need to invest. So then I started investing. And before that, somebody had also told me, you have money, why don't you buy land? So I bought a lot of land.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But what was your first investment looking like? Was it a FD?
So I like land because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you can plant trees there. Yeah. So like I said, so I bought a piece of land first in 1996 or 97 in Lonavala.
Wow.
And I planted a lot of, like thousands and thousands of trees, and I built a house in the middle. Wow. So that's, again, an interest, Yeah. I don't do things, like you were saying, unless I enjoy them. Yeah. I don't think, I have to do this. Like I was telling you also, if you don't have a reason, it's not going to happen. Right? I don't have to do it. Like you also told me, what did you have to do? I don't have to do nothing. I only do things if I enjoy them. And I also tell this to people, I meet people who say कि अरे मैं भी college में करता था, मैं लेकिन छोड़ दिया. अच्छा क्यों छोड़ा? नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए. आपको पसंद था? दिलचस्पी थी उसमें? हाँ मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता था. क्यों छोड़ा? So never leave something that interests you.
Gives you joy, yeah.
Never leave something that gives you joy. Never. Even if it's singing and you're a bad singer, people will run away. Sing when you're alone. If it gives you joy. If you don't let people tell you don't do this and don't do that. Like a lot of people told me, like my grandparents told me when I was swimming, you should stop swimming now. Now 10th standard is coming. Yeah. You have to stop. Like a lot of the people who were swimming with me, they had to stop swimming. Because the parents said, now you have to study. Because study is so important for Indians, which is amazing. But we have to also learn balance. So my parents said, like your parents, that you can do both. If you're good at both, do both. As long as you can do both successfully at a particular level, it's fine. You don't have to stop anything. So that's why I was able to continue swimming competitively till 23.
Wow.
Otherwise, most people stopped at 13.
But if I had to ask you, if you want to talk to the younger Milind, a lot of people do this in psychology, if you had to tell your younger Milind, for financially only, if you had to change your course, would there be something and when? At what point?
I mean, if I had invested earlier, obviously I have more money. But what would I do with it? What would I do with it? I don't know what you do with thousands of crores. What do you do? You keep it in the bank. Good for you. Good for you. That's all investment money. What do you do with so much money? I have no idea.
There's a huge message here to chase joy. And that is such a beautiful thing.
Yes. Do what you enjoy. Even if it is not bringing you money, it is not bringing you fame, it is not making you successful. Do it because you enjoy it, because that gives meaning to your life. Money does not give meaning to your life. Your job does not give meaning to your life. If it's only your job that's giving meaning to your life, then I'm sorry, something is
wrong. Yeah.
Because as a person, as a human being, as an individual, you must have a passion You must have. If you don't have it, look for it. Find it. Even if you find it at the age of 70, it's fine. That search is also going to teach you more about yourself. That search will also connect you better with yourself. That search will also excite you and interest you every day in life.
Well said.
So search for the thing that is going to give you joy if you don't already have it.
If I had to
Never
ask,
give it up.
If I had to ask the same question to you, Sanjay ji.
So I would say I wish I had met Milan in 1996. I would have bought land in Lonavala at that time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
No, तो आपकी financial journey में ये आप करते अलग. Your sense of humor is amazing, sir. But sustainability is something we all live for. Like for me, it's probably littering initially, and then eventually I live in Warsaw, so being with Afros just made me feel like I had a purpose, and what I was doing or giving back to people who just wanted to walk on the beach, for crying out loud. If I had to ask you, what does sustainability mean to you, and what does it entail in your everyday practice?
So I think it effectively means responsibility, self-sufficiency, making sure that you don't take from the environment if you can help it, and that's to some extent what we try to do in Bank of Baroda. So this building in which we are sitting today is a 5-star rated building. There are 167 of our branches which run solely on solar power. Each one of the bulbs that you'll see anywhere in BOB is a LED bulb. So just try to make sure that to the extent possible you don't take from the environment, and to the extent possible you can contribute, you do that.
That's fantastic. And if I had to put it to sustainable investment, sorry, but I have to ask.
So I think it's again the same thing that Milind said. Start small, keep at it again, and make sure again that in terms of consumption, you try to limit that. I think that's something which really works.
I want to ask both of you to take a piece of advice from each other. What advice would you take from Mr. Chadda?
But I never give advice.
Yeah.
But if you had to take,
said that.
I said you take.
And not for free anyway.
No, so you take.
Yeah, nothing personal, just business.
Is there a piece you want to take from him?
Yes, I think.
You can ask me a question if you have one. Anybody can if they want. I just want to, before that, I just want to tell you one thing that I just remembered, which was very important for me in my life.
Yeah.
When I was 15, so my father had a guru, a spiritual guru.
Wow.
And one day that guru asked me, just for fun I guess, what do you want from life? I was 15 years old. He said, what do you want from life? And I don't think what it was, maybe I just broke up with somebody or whatever. I said, I want peace of mind.
Oh.
You know? Maybe I don't know why I said it, but I just said it. So you're talking about affirmations, you know? So when you articulate something, when you speak about something, it's so important because it becomes more important to you when you say it.
Yeah.
So when I said that, I don't know why I said it, but then I started thinking about it. I said, yeah, I want peace of mind. Peace of mind is so important.
Yeah.
And especially, but I was in competitive swimming, and you have to be at peace if you want to do well in competition.
Right.
You cannot be stressed out at all. You cannot be thinking about other things. You cannot be unfocused. You have to be able to concentrate. So you must have peace of mind. Right?
It's like being
but
one
that
with your breath,
idea
Milind?
has guided me in every decision and every choice I have ever made in my life. If I feel this is going to disturb my peace of mind, I do not do it. Even if it's a big movie and it's going to get me lots of money, I will say I'm not going to do it. So as a model, when I had no money at all, alcohol companies used to come to me to advertise for alcohol. And even tobacco was allowed at that time. I never advertised for alcohol or tobacco. Because I didn't want to promote it. And I said, if I do this, I will just for money, I'm not going to feel good about myself. This is not me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it. You know?
Wow.
Even chips, even soft drinks. I have never advertised for chips, soft drinks, tobacco and
Can
alcohol.
I please say something to you guys? So Saif Ali Khan had a heart attack, God bless him, I'm sure he's
He
happy
did?
now. He did.
Oh.
And one of my friends' mother-in-law says, not good, he eats chips. So we were thinking,
I eat chips.
No,
I eat
I'm
chips.
just saying, how did you know? It was an advertisement that he was doing for a chips company. And I just thought how impactful it is to watch somebody do something, think that they do it, and then think that that's what's impacting them.
They have their reasons, whatever it is, but I just felt that it would disturb me. I would think about it as something I regret in my life if I do that. It's not that I don't smoke. I used to smoke 30 cigarettes a day, by the way. I stopped 20 years ago.
Wow.
I do drink occasionally now, very rarely. I used to drink a lot when I was young, till about, I told you I stopped partying at 27. So till then I used to drink a lot. But it's not something I want to promote.
Yeah.
That it's something that you know, if you think I'm like somebody that you want to follow, this is something I'll do, so you should do. It's not like that. So even though I had no money, I would say, I don't want to do it.
A lot of people say 60 is the new 40, and everyone's trying to postpone the better decisions they make in life. I know you did it with your heart and what made you feel good, but what do you have to say about sayings like this? 60 is the new 40, 40 is the new 20, and stuff like that?
Well, I think that because people are getting more aware of what health and fitness is, and they are becoming healthier and fitter through running and cycling and gyms and so on, now you see older people. So this has actually happened only in the last 50 years. You know? Before that, everybody was active. Everybody was much healthier than they are today. We know how our grandparents were. They were walking kilometers because they had to walk. They didn't have motorcycles. They didn't have cars. They had to walk. They had to. People used to build their houses with their own hands. They used to get together and put up a house. They used to do their own plumbing. They used to do all kinds of things. Work in their fields, grow their own vegetables. Now we don't do any of that. And we haven't done that since the age of technology and industrialization. It is becoming less and less and less. So we work less and less and less, and we get more and more unfit. So again, we have discovered that if we take care of our health, our age will not matter that much. I can do whatever I did at the age of 50 that I was doing at 25. I'll give you an example. I climbed Kilimanjaro when I was 32. Okay, Kilimanjaro is in Africa. It's a freestanding mountain. It's about 19,500 feet. It was very tough because as you go over 15,000 feet, it becomes very difficult to breathe.
Yeah.
But I did it again when I was 52, and it was easy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because of all the running and stuff.
Also, I had done it before.
Yeah.
So as you do it again, you might think something is very tough. Even with running is tough when you start, but as you do it, it just gets easier and easier and easier because that is the magic of your body and the magic of your mind. Your mind fears less the more you do something, and therefore your body performs better the more you do something.
Sandeep, it's so funny, what he says is so true, because back in college and school, I didn't do elocution or debating, and then eventually I got chosen to be a radio jockey by Jeetu Raj, and I thank him.
People have to stop you talking.
Well, I share my birthday with you, so we're like similar in our passion for things. If I had to ask you, he's just said something very lovely, I loved. Do things with your hand. और अभी क्योंकि हर चीज़ बहुत ज़्यादा डिजिटल हो गई है, आप अपने लाइफ में क्या करते रोज़ जिससे, बिकॉज आपका एक जो स्टेट ऑफ माइंड है और आपका ये सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर है, बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे.
So I think in some ways it's a bit different from what Milind said. One is I am not on any social media. No Twitter, no Facebook, nothing.
Oh my.
Because I believe that at the end of the day, you need to think for yourself. And very often, the tragedy of social media is that you tend to react all the time.
Yes.
And particularly again in our kind of situation where there are multiple demands, responsibilities, if you actually get into that mode, then actually you are not really able to do what you need to do again.
Right.
So I think that's something which really works for me.
Okay.
And the second part again, I think, is just to make sure that you have a work-life balance. I think that's something which is very important. As Milind said, if your job is the only thing about you, then there's something which is missing. So I think that's what I always encourage people to do. Make sure that you have interests, make sure you have plenty to do, and that would mean that actually you can bring much more to the job, because the kind of desperation that comes if you are a one-trick pony, that's something that's not there in that case.
How lovely. We're going to do a quick rapid fire and say bye-bye. Milind, are you ready for this?
We don't want to ask them if they have any questions.
Oh, please do. Yeah, after that, yeah? Yeah?
So we can go to questions.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know how much time
Should we do?
Yeah.
Well, you're not a fan of rapid fire. What did you say?
No, I'm okay.
You okay?
I don't know how many.
Do you, you want to quickly ask questions, everyone?
There are a couple of questions.
Ooh.
So, Milind, my name is Virendra. First of all, let me confess that when I mentioned to my family that Milind Soman is coming to our office, from my young daughter to my wife to my very old grandmother, all of them wanted to be here.
What a comment!
That's sweet.
But I told them
I wish my mother was here to hear that.
Somebody send a video of this to his mom. She needs to know.
But I told them that if you're not a Bank of Baroda employee, you have to do 50 push-ups to enter. So that's how I kept them at the bay, right? You mentioned about, at the age of 52, you started doing, serious investments. So that also reiterates the huge potential we have.
I won't say it's serious investment, it's mutual funds.
Yeah, simple.
It's easy.
Okay, just to give you the context, I run the wealth management business for the bank. It also reiterates the tremendous potential the business has in a country like India for the man on the street till, for a person like you, rich, famous and pretty well aware, how much gap it is there on financial planning. So I think we can, that's the power of the business to bring. But coming back to what I really wanted to ask you, obviously you've stretched beyond boundaries and challenged the status quo, and you kept moving from swimming to running to cycling and, doing multiple things including, Ultraman. So I myself is also a full marathoner. And more often than not, we look at success, but the frustration which go behind, or the failures or the mistakes are not spoken much. And we've known the better side of yours always, right? We've seen always that in a full marathon, when you cross that 35, there's this whole concept of hitting the wall, and you start thinking, why am I doing this to my body, right? So I'm sure in your journey, there would have been many dark moments, the low areas, or those down cycles for you. So can you narrate a couple of those downsides, and what is it that went into your mind which made you bounce back and then sustained the whole fitness journey?
Can we clap for Virendra because he's a marathoner? Like, wow!
So, Penguin came to me about 7 or 8 years ago and said, we want to hear your story. We want you to write a book. And I said, no. There's nothing in my story. It's rubbish, So they kept after me. So I wrote a book in 2020 called Made in India. It's my autobiography. But they convinced me finally that you people want to read it, you have to see. Because I said, a story is, for me, a story that is inspiring is somebody who has overcome something, who has struggled to, against all odds. I think those are amazing stories. That is the story of the hero. So I told them, I've been so lucky all my life. Really privileged, really lucky. I got kicked into a swimming pool when I was 9. From that I got an amazing body and all of that. I started modeling because of that. Then I became famous. It was just, everything just followed one after the other. I never invested my money. I just got lots of money. My face is like, I look like my mother, and everybody loves it.
It's gorgeous, let me just say.
You see, it's gorgeous. And I have never, unfortunately, or fortunately for me, had a bad moment.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, even as in sports, like I've represented India, I've done Ironman, Ultraman, run from Delhi to Bombay, all kinds, thousands of kilometers cycling. I have never been injured.
Oh my God.
Again, I think that one of the reasons for that is, of course, it is part of the way my mind functions and my mind is developed, but a lot of that training came from swimming. A lot of that discipline, I would just go back and say sports gives you things that cannot be underestimated in the building of personality. The understanding of the value of struggle. Like you're talking about going through bad time, I challenge myself. Like who would do this? To challenge themselves to cycle 1,000 kilometers,
50.
who has not cycled for 4 years, not sat on a cycle for 4 years, cycled 1,000 kilometers, show me. It's like that. I challenge myself to do stuff that should be painful, but it's not. Because from the time, and because of my interest in being healthy and my interest in being fit, I love that feeling. As you were saying, it feels good. I never wanted to let go of that feeling after swimming. I kept, wanting to have that, and that's the reason I challenge myself. And life is tough. We now believe that life is easy because of technology. We think that life is now comfortable because of technology. But life is not comfortable and life is not easy. That's why we see so much mental disturbance today. Yeah. We are under the illusion that life is easy. That everything we should get easily, comfortably. It can't happen. Life is so tough. So we have to prepare for it. And I think that nothing prepares you better than sport. And you can take up sport anytime in your life. You challenge yourself. I want to run 10 kilometers. I want to run 5 kilometers. I want to, run a half marathon, full marathon. You know how it is to challenge yourself. And as you challenge yourself, you understand the value of being able to face a challenge. So then if something goes wrong, you don't even notice. Like when I'm telling you that I never went through anything bad, I must have. Right? But I didn't notice. Okay, I'll tell you, I just remembered one bad thing.
I was just going to ask.
So in 1986, for the 1986 Asian Games, okay, I was national champion in my event. And we had an Australian coach. The Indian team had an Australian coach. And he was very supportive of me. He said, you're amazing and all of that. And I was really good. And I was the national champion and record holder. But there was an Indian coach who didn't like me for some reason. Thought maybe I'm very arrogant or whatever, which I was. But he was like, you can't do this, you can't do that. I used to tell him, listen, don't tell me what to do. And as a national champion, you have that kind of little bit of, why are you telling me what to do? So I used to tell him, don't tell me what to do. And he said, listen, you will not be able to represent India if you don't listen to me. I said, but you're useless. Why have you called this Australian? Because he's a good coach. I'm listening to him. Why should I listen to you? But he made sure I do not represent India at the Asian Games in 1986.
Oh my God.
He made sure. So we had the qualifying event. So in the event, I did a 200-meter breaststroke. And I qualified according to the Asian standard. But they disqualified me because they said I was swimming wrongly. After being national champion for 4 years and swimming at the national level for 14 years, they said your stroke is wrong. I mean, that's how they play.
Manipulate.
And I was not able to represent India at that time, which was a huge blow, actually. Because, it's something that you've trained for. Imagine, 1986 means I've been swimming since 1972. And so that's 14 years of swimming. And thinking that I will one day go for the Asian Games or go for the Olympics, but I'm not allowed by these people. And there's nothing I can do. I literally called the sports minister of Maharashtra. I won't tell you his name at that time. I'll call the sports minister of India at that time. They refused to help. So you can imagine the kind of feeling that you're helpless. What can you do? The people that who are supposed to support you just refuse. And you've done nothing wrong. So there are those times that you go through. And I still remember it, so it must have affected me. So I think the way I changed is that I was able to control my temper a little bit.
How nice.
Though when I was doing Joji Tawai Sikandar, I threw my cycle at Mansoor Khan and I got thrown out of the movie. Because I got angry they were not serving good breakfast. But that was one of the rare times that I remember that something bad happened to me that affected me, psychologically. And I just had no idea how to deal with it. So I was maybe 22 years old, quite young. So eventually I got out of it by, I think, just doing more stuff. Not dwelling on it too much. It was always there at the back of my mind. It's still there because I remembered it. But always doing new stuff. And again, that's the kind of mindset that I have. I love to explore. I love to experiment. So from swimming, I went into modeling. It was a completely new world. It was very exciting. From modeling, then after a few years, then I went into films and television. It was again fantastic. I went into business. And everything just kept going forward.
If there is a definition of a healthy mind, it has to be Milind, because in most books when they say that if you want a healthy lifestyle with a healthy mind, then challenge yourself with new things every day. And this man is pretty much the epitome of it. My last question is,
we only
why?
take one question from the audience.
I would love it.
Just before we move to the next question, you also mentioned that, again, thanks for the answer.
Yeah.
No, there's just a comment. Yeah. You mentioned that you don't know what to do with lots of money. Just to remind you, we are professional wealth managers. So we're booking a time tomorrow morning and we'll give you a lot of exciting options what to do with it.
You should be marketing head. You're so good.
My money is not under my mattress. It is with a professional only.
Don't worry, we will still do a better asset allocation.
You're lovely. There's a lady right there at the back. Oh, okay.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hello. I know Mr. Milind since 2014. 2014 से जानते हैं। बेंगलुरु मैराथन में मैंने इनका आभा मंडल जो है उसको देखते हुए मैंने हाफ मैराथन में पार्टिसिपेट किया और एक फ़ोटो ली थी आपके साथ में। तो नेक्स्ट ईयर 2015 में फिर मैंने फुल मैराथन की थी, जिसमें आपने पहले 5 घंटे साइकिलिंग की, फिर फुल मैराथन की थी। दैट वन। Recently this Sunday I did a 12-hour marathon. It is a stadium run, 84 kilometer. This last Sunday. Then I was just a question. You are also an event organizer. You did a lot of event organizing. Recently you was brand ambassador in Singapore.
Could you keep the mic slightly away? Yeah.
You was brand ambassador in Singapore also. A lot of events.
You were there in Singapore?
Yeah.
No, I was not there. But I am following you on Facebook.
Right.
During those events, are there lots of wastage? Being an organizer, how you will be trying to control those things?
As an organizer.
I'll tell you. So, it's not easy, but of course I have also participated in events where they do take a lot of care. So as you mentioned, as far as possible, obviously in the organizing of an event like the marathon where there are thousands and thousands of people, there is a certain infrastructure that is required. You know, and to put up that infrastructure, then again it's a question of balance. Like, should we have a running event but where there's so much wastage, or should people not have the opportunity at all? So you have to be able to say, what can you do? So I organize also an event called the Barefoot Marathon in Coorg. In fact, it was last Sunday. If you're following me, then you must have seen it on Instagram, where we use no electricity at all and no plastic either. Wow. No plastic and no electricity. Even the water is given in coconut shells. Wow. So that is how we, and again it's barefoot, so nobody even wears shoes. So that's how you can do it as far as possible. So in the Barefoot Marathon it is possible, but say in the Singapore Marathon or the Mumbai Marathon, it just becomes very, very difficult.
Is it healthy to run barefoot in Mumbai, considering there's more tar than there is actually land, if you know what I mean? Dharti matlab kam hai. I'm just asking.
You're not in the audience. But I'll tell you.
Yeah, sorry.
So,
I'll come to you.
But I'll tell you. So running barefoot, a lot of people ask me the question that is, is it good for your knees or bad for your knees? So the thing is that running itself is very good for the knees. But again, you have to do it, you have to be technically correct, which means start very slow, allow your body to learn how to run, allow the body to learn. Don't mentally think that how should I run, should my hand be here or leg be there. Run very, very slow, allow the body to understand the movement. Because what happens is all children run. All children run. You cannot stop children from running, right? But by the age of 12 or 13 or 14, for some reason around puberty, people stop running. Unless they enjoy it, they don't run. Yeah. They become really cool, Yeah. So the thing is that when people then start running again, like running the marathon, they start at 35 or 40 or 50 sometimes, they have probably not run for 20 to 25 years. So when you have not exercised your running muscles or any muscle for that long, the muscle has deteriorated. It does not have the strength for that particular movement. So just to let you know, when we are walking, we use different muscles. When you're running, you use different muscles. So the running muscles need to be retrained and redeveloped, and that can only happen very, very gradually. Very gradually. So start in fact with half a kilometer or maybe less, whatever you're comfortable with. And then slowly, slowly build it up. And if you do it correctly, again, allow the body to train itself, allow the body to learn, it becomes very healthy for your joints. Now when it comes to barefoot running...
Where do you run is the question.
Yeah, barefoot, you can run anywhere. My favorite surface is concrete. Yeah.
Oh.
So the usual argument is that, तब जब लोग without shoes दौड़ते थे, barefoot दौड़ते थे, पुराने ज़माने में, तब तो concrete होता नहीं था. वो बहुत कड़क है. लोग तो mud पे दौड़ते थे. They used to run the mud or in the sand or in the, so on. But the fact is, it is not the surface that is important. The important is your response to the surface. It is like any situation. It is not the situation that is important. It is your response to the situation. How do you respond? So in this case, how does your body respond to whether it's concrete or it's grass or it is sand or mud? How does the body respond in the movement? So if you, sorry.
No, beautiful.
So, yeah. Oh, I was continuing, but anyway.
Yes.
You got it? One more question. One more question. I have a flight. Yeah. Sorry. I love talking and I can't stop you. Yeah.
Hi Milind, I'm Suraj.
Suraj, may I please request you to allow the lady? Yeah.
I'll also keep my answer short. I'll try. Want to be finished? Yeah, sorry. Where are you?
Hi, Milind, and thank you for sharing the space with us. And I'm trying to keep aside my fangirl moment right now. It's really surreal. Anyways, so what I really admired about you that you have such a frugal way of living, which is really exceptional in a city like Mumbai. It's a highly commercial
With a man
capital.
with a lot of money as well. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's
That he can
that's
spend.
something I'm really curious to know. I've been shooting my hands up like so many times. My question to you is like in this era of consumerism, of Instagram followers and influencers, you being one of them, and still you have seen so many success in your life, being in the fashion industry, in the movie industry. You have so many accomplishments. So how is it that in an era like this, when you have constant, with each passing day, we have apps developed for, like you said,
More
instant
consumerism,
gratification, instant gratification, 10 minutes delivery, half an hour delivery, and just glamour is on the top of the mind. How do I look, if I look great enough or something like that? How do you address to people like us, like millennials? I'm a millennial, and the new age generation who are always chasing these sort of things, the glitzy part, the glamour part, but actually we have already eroded our virtues, our traditions, our belief
What a
system.
lovely question.
Everything is being eroded away with new inventions, new technology. So I feel very bad. I come from a very humble background, and my way of thinking, I don't feel I'm compatible with my colleagues or anyways as such a thing. I feel there's a missing link. So you being an epitome, like ma'am said, of everything that you have achieved. So what will be your message? Because I see every day.
I am the message.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Yeah. So like, how will you convey this message? Like you said, you don't advise people, but we need people like you to understand there's a link with our tradition, what our forefathers had taught us, and the way we are going towards, like even we are consuming meat, that is also leaving a carbon footprint. We are, we don't choose to go through railways.
We've got your question. Can I rephrase it?
Sure.
I think what she's also asking is how do you even control your own? Because I get that you are the example, but how do you
control? Even have so much of success and fame, how do you control that? And how do you?
So the way that you have realized this, or you are aware of this, that is the only thing that is necessary. If we are aware, then we can make a choice. A lot of people are not even aware of what is the right way for themselves to be in life. That is why there is a lot of mental issues, and people say that the internet is to blame for it, or the social media is to blame for it. It's because people are not aware of what they should have for a better life, how they should be for a better life. It is not all about influence, it is about what you want from inside. If you want something from inside and you are sure of it and you're convinced about it, you will not bother about what the influences are. You will say, oh, people do this also, wow, but I don't do it because I like this. And you're happy with that. Unfortunately in our education system, not just India, globally, we don't teach children how to be happy.
Nice.
Nobody is taught how to be happy, how to understand yourself, how to be healthy. These are the 3 things you need for a good life. The only 3 things you need for a good life. We are not taught this. And now because of that system, even parents can't teach their children that.
Yeah.
Because they also don't know. So it is again the responsibility of each one of us to introspect. What do I really want from my life? And I think, when you see India today has the fastest growing running community in the world, where we have no tradition of exercise or sport or fitness or anything. How come? And I used to hate running myself. Thousands and thousands of people are starting to run. Indians are starting to run every day because they are realizing it. They are becoming aware of it. Those are the lucky people, the smart people. And eventually everybody will realize, because this kind of technology has been around only in the last couple of generations. Right? You say that we have eroded and degraded and all that. It's happened in the last 2 generations. It will take another 2 generations for us to realize and to come back. And we will come back because common sense is important. We will achieve common sense
I think you
Again.
should give Made in India to everyone. They will hopefully live a better life. I think at that I must ask you, if you challenge yourself, my last question, why Green Ride 2.0? What is the challenge for you in it? Why did you choose it? Before we say bye to everyone, we should know.
Well, the actual question is about 1.0, and
Yeah.
it was for fun. I mean, I do this because I really enjoy it, and again, like I said, I want to test myself. It's a different terrain. But what happened last year is when I undertook this initiative, I got such a huge response from people saying, how did you do it? Can we do it? How do we do it? What should we do? Everybody got more interested in basically understanding how they could change their life.
Yeah.
So like I said, once you are aware and once you realize, and those become your questions, then you are on the way to leading a better life.
And
you're on the way to leading a better life.
And this for
you
you-
don't have to do this.
Yeah.
You don't have to run a full marathon. You don't have to cycle 1,000 kilometers. I tell you what I do every day is 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, you told
Do as much as you can, but do it because it's necessary. So understand your reason. Do I want to be healthy? Not just because somebody has told me or it's written in the media, but I think it's important and I want to do it because of these maybe for my children, maybe for my own health, maybe for whatever. But that becomes the important reason that will motivate you, not just the fact that you need to be healthy. Yeah.
All look as good as you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chadda Saab. Thank you, Milind.
If you can please present it to them.
It's a little tree.
Thank you.
I was going to ask if it was chocolates.
There we
It's a
are.
green. It's a green memento.
Thank you very much. And great job done. Thank you, Milind. Great pleasure. Thank you. Yeah.
Right. Some final photographs before Milind has to leave.
Put it. Okay. There we are. Thank you.
Sorry. Milind, you have 2 minutes for just one group photograph.
Yeah.
I think here.
They come here, what do you mean? Yes, here. Oh, I'll come here. And some people can come on top.
Yeah.
Some people can go behind. Go behind. Behind. Some people Come in front, come here. Come here.
Excuse me, mobile phones, please.
Whoever needs are not having.
Ma'am, just wait for me. Sir, excuse me, photo please, please.
The flag off is on Monday at 7 o'clock outside BCC. Please join us. Thank you.
And normally I love to take pictures with people, but there is a rule. Everybody has to do push-ups. So today I don't have time. I try to catch. I'm really sorry. Thank you so much.
I sent you my 10 push-ups on Instagram.
Everybody will watch it. On Monday. Okay.